Greetings, everybody. It's Gul'dan here again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. We left off on the last episode, which was a chapter where the capital city was sieged. It wasn't all bad. It was, it would be tough and time-consuming, obviously, to siege any city. Obviously, I know from firsthand experience. I'm part of sieges of cities all the time. But as the Horde was going up against that sort of thing, which they had done successfully at Stormwind, and I do think they gloss over the fact that they should be veterans at that. Instead, they allow themselves to be caught between the hammer and the anvil with the rest of the Alliance forces pursuing them. So the Horde also does not quite realize, not all of them yet, definitely not Orgrim yet, realize that they're about to be in very bad shape because a big portion, 3 whole clans are going to be broken off and not able to help them, where they would think that as the Alliance brought its forces, they could also do the same, but they're not going to be able to do that. All right, so stay a while and listen to this one. It's called In Search of Godhood. And we're going to talk about exactly what Gul'dan, I would imagine, is doing, why he's betraying them. A few days after Doomhammer marched to Lordran's capital, Gul'dan gathered his allies and revealed his plans to seek out the tomb of Sargeras. He promised power to all who followed him, more power than they could ever hope to gain by continuing with the Horde's pointless war. Nearly every member of the Twilight's Hammer and the Stormreaver clans pledged their support to the Warlock, yet there were a few notable holdouts among the Horde in Quel'Tha loss. The Amani Trolls had no interest in Gul'dan's call. They continued their siege on the Elven capital. The Dragon Maul also defied the Warlock, and they moved to bar his path. In the end, neither side risked fighting. The threat of mutual annihilation was too great. And that may or may not be how it plays out. Not sure in the actual game. There might be some fighting. The Dragon Maul set out west to rejoin the main Horde force and warn Orgrim of what had transpired. Meanwhile, and so I guess we haven't done that in the novel yet either. Meanwhile, Gul'dan and his followers headed south. They met occasional resistance from humans along the way, but nothing that truly gave them pause. In Hillsbred foothills, the Renegades commandeered a portion of the Horde fleet and sailed west. And we've already seen that. Unbeknownst to Gul'dan, the Blacktooth Grin orcs had nearly caught up to him. They boarded the rest of the orcish vessels and followed in his wake. The Blacktooth Grin were not the only threat to Gul'dan, far from it. Kil'jaeden soon learned of Gul'dan's reckless betrayal, which had come as a surprise. The Warlock had hidden his intentions well from the Demon Lord. Kil'jaeden prepared to annihilate his former servant for single-handedly dooming what should have been a momentous Legion victory. Sargeras himself ordered the Demon Lord to stand down. It was not out of mercy, no. Sargeras wanted to punish the Warlock in his own way. If it was power Gul'dan wanted, then the Legion's ruler would let him find the tomb of Sargeras. He would let him come within reach of what he desired, let the foolish orc taste what could have been his. Then Sargeras would rip it all away, just as Gul'dan had done to the Horde's hopes of victory. All right, and I think, spoiler alert for the end of this war, I think what is general canon is that they raise the tomb of Sargeras, things go pretty badly, we know the orcs lose this war, and Gul'dan is ripped to shreds by demons in one way or another. In the novel or the battle, depends. It's going to go slightly differently in the game versus in the novel, but the motif, the spirit is the same. All right, this episode's in the pipes 5x5. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see everybody on the next episode of Lore of Warcraft.